Hello, welcome back to another video. I hope you're doing really well. Today I thought I'd do a catch-up Q&A video. It's been a while since we've done just a chill kind of video. I feel like I've really missed these, and also just connecting with you guys online and stuff, and it's really nice when you send in some questions. So I put it over on my Instagram yesterday on my story. That's where I tend to do most of my sort of polls or Q&As. Nothing is off limits, and there's quite a mixture of questions, a lot of fitness ones of course, and some nutrition, some personal stuff. But we're in a new backdrop, which I've been trying to finish off this past few days, like over the weekend just gone. This painting, this abstract that you can see here has still got its packaging on. I just wanted to make sure before I take it off that I'm definitely sure I like it, but it's really coming together. And let me know if you want to see more of like an apartment tour. I haven't actually shown much of this apartment. So yeah, we'll jump straight into the questions. I feel a bit rusty because I've just not been sat in front of the camera in a while, but it feels so nice to be back. Do you get painful period cycles? It's actually my time of the month right now, and the first day can be a bit painful, but I don't have that severe cramping. I can always feel a bit weird, but I don't really get strong period pains, luckily. If I've got shooting pains, usually like a few days before, then I'll just take things a bit easier, and I try not to do anything too crazily intense if I have any sort of cramping in my stomach. Are you still tracking macros? I haven't been tracking my macros for a month and a half, 2 months, I'm going to say. No particular reason. I've got a really flexible approach, I'd say, when it comes to my nutrition. If I'm finding it really hard to track, like I've been moving around, traveling quite a bit over the summer, so it was just getting too difficult to be taking like some scales. And if I'm eating out a lot or on the go, I just find that quite difficult. The minute I've just been eating intuitively. I have obviously tracked for a long time, so I do have a rough idea. I did have a few weeks where I've been pretty inactive, to be honest, and had loads of stuff going on in the background, personal life. Someone really close to me had a big kind of health scare, so I was just focused on that completely. And this is what I mean about when it comes to your fitness journey, life can throw things up. Just had a delivery. What is your job? Do you work remotely? I'm an entrepreneur and full-time content creator. I've done this for 3 or 4 years, something like that. I've been working on a massive project, 2 things actually, but I need to do the first one. I need to get the first one out there. It's been such a long process, but I know it'll be so worth it. I do work remotely. However, I do quite like mixing up my work environment. So when I was living in Manchester, I used to go into these co-working spaces. One of them was called WeWork. Work a lot from cafes. If I'm in there for hours, and then, you know, like I constantly feel like I've got to be buying a coffee, you know, and you've had like 3 coffees that day, like I'd be literally shaking if I had another one. I film obviously from home or in the gym as well. Are you planning on launching a fitness plan? So I have got my guides that I've released before, and then there's something coming that is really nearly here. Do you feel settled where you are living now, or will you move again in the future? So I have felt anything but settled over the past 2 months, but at the same time it's the first time in my life where I've been moving around so much. And in the UK I was staying in like different Airbnbs. I've been traveling around, which has been the most amazing time, but at the same time I've missed just that rooted feeling. Right now I'm back obviously in Dubai and stuff. We've got an apartment here, and then I'm kind of living between Dubai and the UK. Will I move again in the future? Is quite unknown right now. I'm just trying and being as open-minded as I possibly can be. Living out of a suitcase seems to just stress the living daylights out of me, and then obviously trying to run my business. On top of that, something really awful happened to someone close to me 2 weeks ago, which was just probably the most stressful thing that's happened in a long time, and not having that security right there and then in that moment was just a nightmare. What do you do for active rest days, and how often do you have them? So for active rest days, I do some form of stretching. I love going to like a yoga class, or going for a walk, going for a swim. Sunday just gone, me and some of my friends went paddle boarding, which was so chilled. We just did it for an hour. And if I'm ever feeling stiff and just need something, I don't find sitting still for an entire day. I like to do something active so that I can just release that stiffness. When I flew the other day, it was like a 6-hour flight, and oh my God, I trained legs like 2 days before the flight. I kid you not, because I was sat for so long, when I stood up, I just felt like my glutes had just fallen off. Also, when I was going through security control, I have all my like camera equipment in my little mini suitcase. I forgot that I'd put this tiny little bag of protein in there. Got stopped. I must have had some like Vaseline in my mini suitcase. So when they opened it, I kid you not, this protein bag exploded. Like I don't know how, it must have been sat on something. And you know, and you're like, it was so busy, and there was just this white protein powder everywhere, and I just thought, oh God, like this looks so bad. Just one of those moments, and I was on my own. I was like, oh, for God's sake, like of all days for this to happen. How many cows do you eat in a day? I'd say at the moment around 2,000 calories to 2,400, that kind of mark, but it depends how active I am and just how hungry that I've been lately. 5 fitness tips that helped you get to where you are today. That's a really good question, actually. Number 1 is just get started. When I first started out, I think I spent so much time overthinking, dwelling, and just thinking, oh, I didn't want to be a beginner, so not being afraid to be a beginner. It doesn't matter where you're starting from, as long as you're doing one small action that day to get going, that will just set you on your way. Number 2, remember to fuel your body. Like, you're not gonna get as much out of your workouts if you're not properly fueling yourself. You'll feel a lot weaker, slower, and your mood. You need food to fuel your body. I wish I listened to that when I first started out. Number 3 is look at your activity levels outside of your gym workouts. So that's a mistake that I made for years, probably like 3 years. I was hitting my workouts, but then doing no other form of walking or like activity throughout the day. I'd just be sat, say, at work or something. So definitely look at your how you can increase your total daily energy expenditure outside of your gym workouts. 4th is don't neglect your core, because your core helps you throughout all your lifts, like your deadlifts, your squats, everything. You need to have a strong core. You need to be engaging your core in every lift that you do, but actually training your core, there's so many benefits of supporting your back as well through having a strong core and your posture. So yeah, that's something that I also made the mistake of neglecting. The 5th fitness tip, I would say, be kinder to yourself and patient. I think we can all get really hard on ourselves sometimes, like if you're not seeing results yesterday, and just remember, just showing up for yourself every day, putting in those actionable steps, like even making the time for yourself. It adds up over years, and don't be expecting results in 2 weeks' time. Remember, it's such a, like it's a process and it's a lifestyle. So there are 5 top fitness tips just off the cuff. Does it worry you having children with your fitness routine? This is something that has crossed my mind, because sometimes, you know, those days when you're just like, I feel like I have no time for myself, never mind another like little human. However, I know so many super mums and dads that are just absolutely phenomenal, and I don't know how they get enough hours in the day. And I think some people actually seem to thrive more because things get put into perspective when you have children, from what I've heard. And then also this gym I've been training at lately, near my dad's house, which was a new gym called Cobbydale Forge. They've got like a policy where you can bring your children in, see them in the little prams, and I just think that is such a good idea. I think if I'm lucky enough to have kids in the future, then that'll be me. I'll be bringing them as much as I possibly can. I think it's such a nice way to influence like young kids that way too. I want a baby, but I'm scared it would lose all my fitness. Oh my God, it was such an amazing thing to grow and have a child, and you can still train like whilst you're pregnant, and just adapt your training style that way. So definitely don't let that put you off. And our women's bodies are just absolutely amazing the way they adapt. I've not told you, by the way, guys, I'm going to be an auntie. I just can't even, I'm so excited. My brother and his girlfriend Brogan are expecting a baby in December, that was the most amazing news, and had a little baby reveal. So I'm going to be an auntie to a little nephew, which is just, I know I'm not pregnant, but it honestly feels so surreal, and I can't wait to see them both. They're both going to be amazing parents. Brogan's obviously pregnant at the moment, and they haven't let it stop. Like while she's been pregnant, they've been doing so much. They're on a holiday now, like doing a road trip, so it doesn't have to completely stop everything and stop your life, I think. How did you progress to barbell weight? Did you start with dumbbells? Love you. I started with no weight at all, just doing body weight movements, and then worked up to dumbbells. I still use a mixture of dumbbells and barbells. Start in front of a mirror, check your form, video your form, and just keep progressing that way. Would you upload partner carry exercises video with Mason? Right, I've seen this question come a few times. Could someone, what does that mean, partner carry exercises? Like, do you want me to carry Mason? I don't know if I'd be able to. I can lift him up just. I think I can carry him on my back, but I'll mention it to him. But let me know what you actually mean by that. What vitamins do you take? Multivitamins, question mark. I don't actually take any multivitamins. So my main supplements are, I'll take a greens powder in the morning and omega-3s. They're my like non-negotiables. I did try biotin for a while, but I don't know whether it was that or when I was taking that, I feel like I was breaking out more, but I just like to keep things simple and then try and get as much micronutrients from vegetables. How do I start to lose weight without becoming obsessive over what I eat? Do it over a longer time period. Slightly decrease your calories or your intake. You could also increase your activity level so you're not having to drastically cut your calories. But I think the biggest mistake that we can all make is if you're trying to lose weight too quick and you're being unrealistic, you're trying to set yourself, I don't know, 1200 calorie intake for your day. That's not enough for barely a child, so that's not going to be enough for you, and you're just going to probably end up binging at a later, like the following day, so you end up in that negative cycle. How do you deal with bloating? I have really bad IBS and suffer a lot, so I've done a gut health video on my YouTube channel. I'd really recommend you watching that. It's just a few videos down if you go on my channel, and that's a bit more in depth as well. One big one that you kind of don't really look at that much is your sleep. That really dictates a lot of just how your body's running on a whole. So try looking at your sleep. If you're sleeping a good amount, so between like 7 to 8 hours would be amazing every night, and then looking at your stress levels as well, and then obviously your diet. You could have possibly an intolerance if it's really painful bloating, so it'd be worth booking in with your doctors to see if you can run some blood tests, say, just to rule anything out and any underlying issues. I'd definitely recommend doing that. How to beat perfectionism. I was literally talking to my friend about this the other day, and I feel like it's all to do with your actions and behaviors when it comes to perfectionism. So for me, to try and combat that perfectionism or overthinking, focusing on the next action rather than getting in my own head and own thoughts, just thinking, right, what's the next action that can get me to the next point, and completing the next action. Your behaviors create your feelings and emotions towards things. So again, that's like your behaviors are mainly your actions. So that's one thing, just focusing on the next physical action that can help you get to the next point rather than wanting things to be perfect. And also becoming okay with having failures, having things that go wrong. You need to get comfortable with making mistakes and remember how much growth comes from that as well. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I think my camera is going to die any second. Let me know what you would like to see in the next videos, and if there's anything I could help you on, just drop that in the comments down below. And thank you so much for sticking around as well and following my journey and my YouTube, and I will see you guys in the next video.